Hi. Oh, okay. Um, okay, my name is Alyssa Lee, and my mentor was Miss Ling, and she's a PhD student um, in like urban design. And my topic was the effect of built environment features on bike sharing demand, determinants and implications of future design systems. Oh, okay. Uh, Maybe this is my research paper. You can see it, right? Okay, thank you. So I'll just go through it just like this quickly. Okay, and then oh, how do I go back? Um, sorry. Okay. Uh, okay. So my abstract. Bike sharing is a popular form of transportation due to its benefits to the community, economy, and environment. Research on urban public transportation methods allow designers to better understand the demand and predilections of each operation to society. There are many systematic and technological considerations towards the development and engineering process of creating bike sharing stations. Although bike sharing has been a very successful form of transportation in many cities, it has also become problematic in many other cities. An array of issues have occurred in the bicycle sharing industry, caused by inefficient operation, difficulty with management, and illogical resource distribution. The study outline included searching for the independent variables, dependent variables, research methods, data, and study areas, and the final results. Through trends, I found that independent variables are large aspects that have contributed to the continuous and successful growth of bike sharing in many countries. However, there are many dependent variables that need to be worked around to improve the system. Overall, the modern transportation method of bike sharing has many components that are examined and adjusted to ensure successful design system. And these are my keywords at the bottom. So maybe I won't go through my whole introduction, but just the significance is that many citizens have been engaged with the growing population of the growing population of citizens has been engaged with the accessibility and people's satisfaction with the service of bike sharing. And it kind of just focuses on like the design process, focuses on the human design, the accessibility and economic factors, and as well as it all being tied together with the environmental outlook. So for existing research, I found that the predominant complications caused by independent variables that have affected bike sharing include land use, the transportation system itself, and the overall urban design. And the predominant complications caused by dependent variables are environmental sustainability, legal concerns, and payment operation. So my specific research problem was, how can the design system of bike sharing be improved as an innovation in its use and benefits through its development of ramifications and its overall factors? And the structural overview just goes through the whole structure of my paper, so I won't go into that. So beginning with my methods, for land use, this is a spatial analysis graph of bike sharing stations in demand based on the priority in the Greater Toronto Area in Ontario, Canada. And from analyzing this graph, you can see that a lot of bike share stations have been located directly in the city of Toronto. And when they design it, they try to put it near public transit stations because a lot of travelers use it as a first or last mile transportation before or after using public transit. So they can't really control where their specific destinations are. So next is the transportation system. This is a linear regression graph I created based on system data from Vancouver. And the data used is from 100 citizens on June 30th, 2023. And it contrasts the number of rides for each length of distance traveled compared to the number of rides. And from this data, you can see that the overall line of regression showcases that the distance decreasing results in the number of rides decreasing, causing a declining line of regression. There is urban design. So this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the theory of human psychology behind what individuals believe their needs are. And it does affect if a human decides to purchase an item. So designers try to make it visually appealing, make the bike sharing station visually appealing to get prospects to buy it. So They have to look out for that. Number four is environmentally friendliness and sustainability. So this is a image of bike share oversupply in China, and there's like many they call them graveyards of abandoned bikes because many people abandon their bikes or they damage them and they just leave them in the middle of streets, and it accumulates into large piles of these, and then they end up having to dispose these, and it creates a lot of like waste and landfill and pollution to the earth. Oh, I think I skipped. Okay, number five is legal concerns. So this relates to the last factor, but many people just abandon and destruct bike sharing, and there's also a lot of vandalism and theft that revolves around the bikes. So these do create criminal and legal concerns. Six is payment operations. So this is a linear regression graph again, but it's based on the income of regular users and super users of bike sharing stations. And from this, you can see that the high or the most amount of users come from people with incomes of $75,000 to $149,000 or $150,000, and the least amount are the lower income areas. And then actually, the 35,000 to 75,000 and over 150,000 are very equal, but in a vice versa way for number of regular users and number of super users. Throughout my, or just to discuss, like in a summary, I found that designers really do have to discover and analyze all the independent variables, and there are a continuous cycle of effects, both positive and negative, that each factor reproduces. And I learned that many details and specific elements must be realized and reflected upon in the field of urban development. And in conclusion, bike sharing is an innovative design that is constantly being studied and processed in the urban development field to this day. I found the endless amount of intersections within all the built environment features and how they affect the demand to be astonishing but fascinating. I believe that if I were to hopefully further investigate this topic in the future, I could research the mental and physical health effects that bike sharing has created. Because, for example, like biking does have a lot of like positive mental health um, improvements, and it could like allow people to like meditate and just like um, reflect on their mind. Acknowledgements. I would like to thank Talaria Summer Institute for opening the opportunity and giving me the resources to write this research paper, as well as my mentor Yubi Lang, who guided me throughout the entire process. I truly enjoyed this experience, and I learned a lot of material about this intriguing and riveting topic. And my references are on my research paper. And thank you for listening.